which is a Jeskai aggro-ish deck, Patriot Missile. I like Tommy's matchup here.
Yeah.
I think he's playing like Mana Striders and stuff, which I think line up pretty well against the tokens deck. Hard to attack through the 3/3. So this should be interesting. The Jeskai deck is seeing a little bit of resurgence in the past couple of weeks since Fate Reforged came out. I think Mantis Strider got a lot better, and it's sort of like the red-white deck, only you can go longer because you can play cards like Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time.
Sure.
So
Both these players sitting at a cool 1-0 right now.
yep. I know LSV said he was debating between playing this deck and red-white in his top decks article on the mothership today. If he makes it to GP Memphis, he'll choose between those two. Martin Yuza, as I said earlier, played a similar list to Tommy's at GP Seville last weekend. Top 8'd with it. So Tommy was 4-0 at the recent SCG regionals with a Patriot Missile before dropping, I think, every single game after that, every single match after that. So
he had some success with it last time though at FNM. Right?
No, I think he went like 2-2. So that might be success for Tommy, but if I go 2-2, I'm
You're not
kind of
feeling
on
good?
tilt. Yeah, I probably mulligan to 5 a bunch of times. So Bart gonna lead off here with the Mystic Monastery. So Tommy gonna lead with the Tat Mystic Monastery too. So we got perfect mana, guys. Bart gonna play an island and pass it back. So we'll see what Tommy has here. It looks like he had 2 Chain to the Rocks in his hand, drew a Wild Slash. So Tommy is going to lead on a Seeker of the Way, which Bart not going to Lightning Strike it, which seems odd to me. I'm pretty sure he had one of those in his hand, but maybe not. He did just draw one, which is kind of unfortunate. Looks like he doesn't have a 3rd land, though.
It's usually not a good sign.
Kept a kind of a loose one then.
Yeah.
So
He is fairly new to this deck. Remember, we saw him playing a kind of strange, mono red/white deck in the past FNM, and now I recently saw him testing with Jeskai Ascendancy, moving into Jeskai tokens.
Yeah. So Tommy played a Rabble Master, which Bart lightning struck before combat, so Tommy didn't get to make the token. But it looks like Tommy has a follow-up Rabble Master here. So that one also going to get lightning struck. So Bart did have the 2 lightning strikes and chose not to gain a little bit of tempo against that Seeker of the Way. Well, it paid off actually for him, since he was able to take care of those 2 Rabble Masters and leave Tommy just with this Seeker of the Way. So
he has all his colors now.
Yeah,
Drop the Ascendancy.
He does, and 3 mana. So it might be correct, actually, in this type of deck to not really care about the Seeker of the Way. I know there were, at least in Martin Yuza's article, he was discussing, like, is it correct to fight over that type of card, or is it correct to save your lightning strikes and, removal spells for things that actually matter, like Rabble Master and Stormbreath Dragon and stuff like that.
I mean, Rabble Master is definitely a scary card if it's dropped a turn of head, in a green-red monsters deck, or even if it's dropped just naturally in a deck like this. I mean, that's a card that you have to answer. As we've seen in the past, the card can just win games. I mean,
yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely correct from Bart. So he's going to end step raise the alarm. Tommy just has a Seeker of the Way. Looks like he has a Stoke the Flames, 2 Chain to the Rocks, and a Wild Slash in hand. So pretty reactive hand here. If Bart can somehow remove this Seeker of the Way permanently, I think he's going to be in business. Bart going to cast a Mantis Rider here, which is a card I really like right now. I think it's pretty good.
I agree. I think the card's very... Not only is it well-suited currently, but I think the card is just an overall good card.
Yeah, for sure. It's good against, like, the green decks. I think it's actually pretty good against Heroic. And it's pretty good against pretty much all the aggro decks, since it has Vigilance. And, I think it's just a great card. Tommy here is going to fetch with his Evolving Wilds. Get another mountain. I remember this deck now, the Patriot Missile deck with 19 mountains in play, where Tommy just needed a blue source or a white source to be able to cast any of his cards.
He had 5 mountains.
It's all coming back to me.
Chandra 0, mountain.
Yeah. So Tommy's going to Stoke the Flames, the Mantis Rider, before damage, and then trigger his guy who's tapped and doesn't do anything. But Bart is going to hit in for 2. Put him to 18. It looks like Tommy's at 17 from a fetch lander.
Potential fetch, yeah.
Yeah. Draws another Chain to the Rocks, which doesn't really line up all that well with against the tokens deck.
Once again, a card that sees a lot of play currently, and against the tokens matchup, it's just so bad.
Yeah, it's not very good.
I think the one time we saw it really used to effectiveness was at the last regionals, where Alex Presic took a game by double casting Chain to pump his prowess tokens.
Yeah. In that case, it was good in the
no, that's and you can hit me with the situational button right there, because I'll take that one as situational.
Yeah. So Tommy is going to cast it here, and
just for the prowess.
Yeah, just for the prowess.
Again, I mean,
which isn't bad. He has 2 in his hand already, so I think that's fine. Gonna put Bart down to 11. Tommy goes back up to 20.
Kind of a slow game from 2 very explosive decks.
Yep, and Bart draws a Rabble Master. Wild Slash is super good. Like, Rabble Master looks awesome right now, but just gonna get Wild Slashed. The tempo is so huge.
Does Bart not have an Ascendancy in hand?
He does. He just hasn't cast it yet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I have not played this Jeskai tokens list, but is that not one of the first cards that you immediately want to get onto the field?
I would actually probably get it onto the field in this situation. I don't think I'm under a huge clock, and it just spirals out of control really quickly. But I don't know. I've never played the deck either.
I mean, we know our opponent has almost no main board answers to this card.
Oh, for sure.
In Ascendancy, so putting out, effectively placing your engine on the field and making them answer all of your plays after the engine is online. I mean, that's another good draw on a Rabble Master, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fine draw. Bart, I think, really just wants a way to kill this Seeker of the Way. So, gonna play a Rabble Master and attack in for 2. But you're right. Like, Bart is, I don't know. He's like just keeps taking like little points of damage, and then against like a deck with a bunch of burn, when he could potentially set up Ascendancy and just like combo kill him out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, the Ascendancy has been in hand for a while, and
I don't know.
He's just chosen not to cast it.
Yeah, I kind of like setting up the Ascendancy, especially with like a Hordling Outburst in hand. Unfortunately, Bart can't cast it since he only has 1 red source. So, but Tommy's going to chain to the Rabble Master, and then he's going to go back up to 20.
I mean, the Seeker has done work. Despite our effort to remove both of Tommy's Rabble Masters, the Seeker has actually been the only thing that's... So there's a Stoke.
Yeah, but now Tommy has 2 creatures.
Right.
That Stoke would have been great last turn before he drew the other Seeker.
But that's kind of what I'm saying. So, like, if Ascendancy is out at this point, now we have our tokens from Raise the Alarm. We may have our 1 token from Rabble Master. And at least now our spells are allowing us to either set up profitable blocks as well as filtering our draws and stuff like that with the Ascendancy triggers, correct? Because, like, if Tommy casts a spell, we can cast a spell to untap our dudes. And
yeah, plus we can like make our guys huge to be able to potentially block these Seeker of the Ways. Plus Stoke and Jeskai Ascendancy is just flat broken. The combination is just insane. So Tommy draws a Soulfire Grandmaster, which actually like isn't that bad since he has 1,000,000 mana. Can potentially buy back like a Lightning Strike.
And we have yet to see that card actually do that, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen that card buy back anything. So Bart's gonna put a block on each. Don't think Bart is winning this game. So like, I like double blocking and then like stoking one. So you get all the creatures off the board. If Tommy has a spell, whatever, we lose. But if Tommy has a spell anyways, whatever, we lose. So
I think I'm okay with that line because you see that Bart also has a... Is this a dig through time? No, it's a treasure cruise that he cannot do at instant speed.
Correct.
As he was probably just informed.
Yeah.
Going back to your blocks, though, I think I agree with you, only because he also has a Jeskai charm. So if the Soulfire Grandmaster gets out of control, you're removing both Seekers. Tommy plays the Soulfire Grandmaster, and as Bart, you at least have the potential to just time walk Tommy again.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
in case.
Right. I just like we're not winning this game by jump blocking essentially.
Yeah, you're right.
If Tommy has a spell, well, Tommy has a spell. You know.
Have we had a Hordling outburst in hand too?
Yeah, we couldn't cast it. We only had one red. So Bart gonna lose that game. Stuck on 3 lands.
All right. So I'm going to say he did not play that. If you're playing a Jeskai tokens list and you have Jeskai Ascendancy in hand, you have a turn open to play Jeskai Ascendancy after you've just now killed 2 of your opponent's Rabble Masters. You play the Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you too, especially when our opponent isn't adding anything to the board.
Right, there's nothing.
Like, what does our opponent have if they have a handful of cards, continue to play lands, and, like, don't do anything?
Have one Seeker the way.
Yeah, and aren't playing any creatures. Clearly they have, like, a handful of removal.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're just losing a bunch of tempo by playing things that our opponent can use the cards in their hand to, to take care of.
I don't think that, especially when Bart had so many spells in hand. Like, a ton of spells. Right. I mean, all right, hit me with the sideboards. What do we got?
All right.
I got it. What's Bart got?
We'll go to the Bart sideboard here. This time he does not have 4 Battlefield Forges in his sideboard.
Okay, that's good.
So it's a step up.
I like it.
He has 2 Negates, 2 Hushwing Grifts, 2 Glare of Heresies, 2 Erases, 2 Chain to the Rocks, 3 Disdainful Strokes, and 2 Anger of the Gods.
Jeez.
So I think Anger of the Gods in these sideboards is kind of weird, but I know like Martin was playing them, but I don't know how high up the curve Bart's deck goes. I don't know if he's playing like dragons and stuff, which in that case I think Anger of the Gods is fine. Although I don't on the play I probably wouldn't bring it in, since I think on the play I don't know. I might actually board out all my Rabble Masters in this matchup.
Well, hold on. What if he's taking out the Manus Riders for the Anger of Gods, trying to go wide like we saw Josh do, to force his opponent to actually commit creatures to the board to block, and then just angering. Like, if I'm making a bunch of tokens, and you're committing Seeker the Ways, Soulfire Grandmasters, and then I can anger my Hordling Outburst that I just played to remove your creatures. I mean, is that a fair trade? Is that something you'd be okay with?
Yeah, if you're able to get cards out of it, that would be fine. I just don't... I can't envision a sequence in this matchup where I'd want, at least on the play, where I want to board out, like, Manus Rider and stuff like that.
Sure. Okay.
Rabble Master, yes, I probably would board those out, just because I imagine Tommy's going to have, like, countless Wild Slashes, and, like, Rabble Master just stinks against that card.
You have to assume that Tommy'd be playing a Wild Slash, Lightning Strike. I mean...
Yeah. We didn't see any, like, Hordling Outbursts or Raise the Alarms, so I think Chain to the Rocks is actually probably fine.
Okay.
Glare of Heresy, I think, is also probably fine.
You bringing a race here to
No.
deal with Tommy? You just don't even care about it?
No.
Sure.
I think Chain to the Rocks is actively bad in this matchup.
Okay.
So I'm boarding those out.
I agree. Tommy is probably taking out... What's Tommy got in his sideboard? Because I'm assuming he's removing his chain here also.
Yeah, so Tommy has 3 Anger of the Gods, 2 Brimaz, 1 Chandra, 3 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Glare of Heresies, a Negate, a Sarkhan, a Treasure Cruise, and a Valor Stance. I think Brimaz is really good.
I like Chandra.
I do like Anger of the Gods out of Tommy's deck because I know he has like dragons and Brimaz, and now we're like, you know.
Okay, so now you can turn the card on because you have creatures that can survive the anger.
Bingo.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So like having cards that can survive the anger is sweet. I like Sarkhan, I think, for that reason. Like, if Tommy wants to play more of a controlling deck, I think he has the option because he has like Chandra and stuff like that. It's
interesting he chose Chandra here and not the more popular Outpost Siege that we've seen a lot of, like, the red-white decks run, a lot of the Jeskai tokens lists sometimes play it. And I like Chandra as well. I think the card's really good, not only for the ability to remove tokens, but also to prevent, a Manus Rider from blocking, or...
I think Outpost Siege is better than Chandra.
Right now?
Yeah.
Or in this matchup specifically?
In general.
In general, I can agree with you, only because the damage potential that you have from Outpost Siege and the way to control the board is much higher. Like we've seen in the mirror matches where Outpost Siege has come online, and it's late in the game where the people no longer need the card draw, and they're then using the ping effect.
Yeah.
Like, that becomes ludicrous.
Yeah, it becomes insane. Plus, I just like it because you can't Heroes Downfall it, and people don't have main deck answers to it.
Sure.
People also, like, really, I don't think Bart's going to bring in a race. You know, plus you can't attack it down. So like
Mhm.
Outpost Siege is a card where you can like play when you're a little bit behind on board and maybe like still get it to do something.
Yeah, it
Where like
draws you from
Chandra,
it.
if you play it behind on board, they'll be just like, okay, cool, pink +1 it, and then I'm gonna kill it.
Sure.
That was real good. Uh, so, but I do like I like Chandra in this matchup. I like Tommy kind of just transitioning to a more aggressive deck. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any like Scouring Sands or Arc Lightnings.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So
So.
he put all his eggs in his basket with Anger the Gods.
Yeah, which I think is pretty good, and what I would bring in this matchup. Bart's gonna mulligan, Tommy gonna keep.
That's Anger the Gods is a clunky card, and I can say even practicing with like the Tamir lists, it's such a hard card to decide when to bring in and when to leave out. Like, what creatures are you willing to sacrifice to Anger the Gods to remove your opponent's creatures? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of the thing, like the problem that it's hard to judge whether like they're good in sideboards and stuff like that is when you've never played the deck, because you have no idea what people's sideboard plan is. Like this card could be perfectly fine if my sideboard plan is to take out all the things that die to Anger of the Gods
And replace them with control aspects.
replace it with all these cards.
Yeah,
so
sure.
then Anger of the Gods is sweet, but I don't know if like people have thought that far ahead and like laid out their sideboards and said, okay, if I'm bringing in Anger of the Gods, then I'm gonna take out all of my X3 or less cards,
Sure.
essentially, and then replace them with all these things.
Yeah.
You know. So that's why it's for me it's a hard card to judge whether or not it's good. Like on the surface it doesn't seem good because you're playing a bunch of like Rabble Masters, Seeker of the Ways, Soulfire Grandmasters, Manus Riders, things that just die to it. But if you have a sideboard plan where you take those things out, then I think it's actually pretty good.
So Bart's going to draw his new 6 here, see if it's a little better. He's got land.
He doesn't have a blue land. Like I've seen Bart play this deck a couple of times now.
Yeah.
He needs to fix his mana. So hopefully he watches this and fixes his mana. I'm gonna play a Mystic Monastery. This is like a red-white splash blue deck, and I've seen like so many of Bart's games in the past couple of weeks where he just doesn't draw an island ever and has a bunch of blue cards rotting in his hand.
I wonder if he decided not to play fetches, which may seem weird, but
He might not just have them.
that's also a possibility.
It looks like he's gonna get on the board first here with a Hordling Outburst. It looks like he's debating between playing a Seeker of the Way first, which I just hate.
I don't like this play either.
Like this is awful because
playing
if Tommy kills it, it's just so bad.
right. You're playing into to 2 open mana. The Hordling Outburst, at least you know, Tommy has to tap down on his turn to Anger the Gods or Arc Lightning.
Completely correct. Yeah, right. But if Tommy just like lightning strikes us there and then plays a
yeah.
Menace Rider, we're just dead.
We're not in a good spot.
Yeah, it's just such a bad tempo play. And like, I understand why Bart did it because he wants to get the trigger with the Hordling Outburst next turn. But I like to use all of my mana when I can. I think there's a consideration here of playing like that. If we think Tommy kept his Rabble Masters in, because then we can bluff Wild Slash. But Rabble Master just seems awful in this matchup. So I can't imagine Tommy kept them in.
Especially if he wants to go the more control route.
Yeah.
Which, from his sideboard, it would appear that is what he wants to do.
Yeah,
So this may be a Manus Rider right here.
Yeah, it is. So here's Patriot Missile,
This is it.
the namesake.
Fire it off.
Costs red, white, and blue, and it fires it for 3.
I love that card. Good card.
So Bart drew a Rabble Master.
No, I'm actually okay with that. I mean, well,
Looking at, like,
no, I think you Hordling Outburst, right? You have to.
so you can get in for 3.
Yep. And now you've kind of offset the attack from the Manus Rider that you were quote-unquote surprised by.
Yeah. But not really, because Tommy can just be like, okay, I'll take 3 and then bash you in the face again for 3.
Sure.
So I guess like it's a little bit of an offset. And this is why I don't really like Rabble Master. It's not all that great. It just feels kind of actively bad in this matchup if you don't cast it on turn 3.
I guess the only way Rabble Master kind of gets out of control here is if Tommy doesn't have a hand of reactionary spells and kind of uses it here to wipe this, clean this board up, and then somehow the Rabble Master gets out of control. Or Bart draws into something to clear the Mantis.
Yeah, I don't foresee that happening. So Tommy gonna bash in for 3. I think he's probably gonna... I'd play a Brimaz here.
He's fetching right now.
Yeah. think he's probably going to cast a Brimaz. That card seems pretty good on this board.
Do we know if Tommy's playing Outpost Siege in the main before sideboard?
No, we don't have full deck lists, unfortunately.
Yeah.
People don't like filling those out for
I'd like
an
to
FNM.
yeah, that's true. I'd like to see an Outpost Siege cast here.
Looks like he's going to chain to the rocks and then play a Brimaz, which 2 spells in 1 turn. You can't complain. But
And you got in for 3?
He did keep the chain to the rocks in, which, I don't know. I just think it's bad against the tokens deck.
I mean, I guess if he's going the control route, you're kind of there, but it doesn't even seem like that's really what he decided to do.
Yeah. Even in like the control route deck. I mean, maybe he took some out. I imagine he did. So
how does Bart answer Brimaz here? Stoke the Flames is all we've got?
Stoke the Flames, Glare of Heresies. If he has any Valorous Stance main deck, which he might, he can also just like attack in and then like put a point of damage on it and then lightning strike it, which feels bad because Tommy gets a token out of that deal. So once again, Bart has like Treasure Cruise in hand and just can't cast it. Its mana is a bunch of plains, mountains. Mismatched plains and mountains, by the way.
Not even. He's got some nice Ravnica ones, but not the same art. How do you feel about Brimaz? You like that card, don't
Card's
you?
nuts. I love that card.
Yeah.
So there's an Outpost Siege.
Okay. What are we picking, Bart?
I imagine he's going to choose cons.
I think that's the safe bet here.
I think that's the correct bet here. We have 3 creatures. Tommy's at 15. I'll choose the one that draws me cards.
That gets you cards?
Yeah. But, I mean, just facing down a pretty formidable board. And there's a Chandra.
Yeah.
So Tommy has his own Outpost Siege and a bunch of vigilant attackers against our 1/1s.
So I guess, like you were saying in the sideboard matchup, here's what's good, is if you have vigilant attackers, it is much harder to kill your Chandra. Granted, sans Hero's downfall.
Oh, yeah.
And now this is where I like Chandra even more, because Tommy could just start shooting your creatures while I shoot you.
Yeah, this card is, in this matchup, I think is probably better than Chandra, especially on this. Like, it's hard for me to say, especially in this situation where we have 2 vigilant attackers against a board of 2 1/1s.
Yeah.
Then Chandra seems nuts.
Yep.
But if like Bart had a board of attackers and then our turn 4 play was to play a Chandra, it would seem pretty bad.
So Bart's down to 8 after that attack from both the Brimaz, the Manus Rider, and Brimaz token.
There's a blue source. Yeah, we're comes into play tap, unfortunately.
Oh, he may have hit an island though. Nope. What?
No,
he hit a chain. Okay, so we can clip the Brimaz here. Thank God.
Yeah, we can clip the Brimaz, then we take 4.
Well, I mean, we're still not in a good position.
Yeah. I think we might have to actually clip the Manus Rider.
And chump block the Brimaz?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Brimaz making a token is pretty awful.
We have mana up to now cast... Well, hold on. If he's got another Hordling Outburst in hand, then I agree with your other... I agree with chaining the Manus Rider.
Yeah.
Keeping the Brimaz online.
Because then we can, like, quadruple block.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, but we just get blown out so horribly. But I guess that's probably our only out. So, Bart, gonna have 5 little 1/1 goblins.
Jeez,
he's at 8, though. Tommy has a 3/3 flyer, 2 Stoke the Flames in hand.
Jeez.
And a Chandra on board. So, Bart's gonna need a miracle to win this one.
I mean, he's dead here.
I mean, if Tommy picks up his cards and concedes.
Okay, so he doesn't die to 2. Actually, he still does because they have to go to game 3. So
you don't have the faith that Bart's gonna win game 3?
Do you? We have it took us.
I always
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It took us close to 6 turns to find the 3rd color in our 3-color deck.
Yeah, I do like Patriot Missile. I have faith in Patriot Missile. Looks like Tommy has a Stormbreath Dragon in hand, so Bart's just dead.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, we +1 the Chandra. It hit with the Manus Rider. That's 4. Then we stoke you.
Correct.
You're dead.
Yeah. Tommy has.
All right.
I hope he shows him all of the ways he could have killed him. Look at all the combinations of cards that I could have killed you with.
Will he explain it? Is the question. Jeez. Oh, why are you attacking with both?
Oh, because he gonna try to flawless him or something like that.
Oh, I guess we could. Can we? No, we can't cast both Stokes here. We could have had we kept our.
Unfortunately, Tommy thinking.
Tommy trying to decide which Stoke to
get. Does Bart have like Pact Negation? Oh, he's gonna slow roll him. What is this nonsense?
What just happened? Is Tommy trying to ultimate Chandra?
Maybe. He's trying to win with style.
What is
on camera?
So Bart just playing any land he can get off the top here. This is brutal. I thought Tommy was going to kill him on draw step.
No, slow rolling people is out. If you can
I
kill him,
agree.
just kill him.
Just kill him. That's rude.
Yeah.
You're being rude. What is he playing around?
There are no spells.
Negate? Is he trying to play around a gate?
No, he was tapped out. Not
He
playing
was.
around
Oh
anything.
yeah, you're right. What? Tommy, when you're watching this,
Don't slow roll people.
yeah, man.
Bart's
come
dead.
on.
He had no outs.
He's
he
not
has
even-
no outs.
What are you trying to? He's at 4, correct? Or did I miss something? Why does his dice says 9?
All right, maybe he's at 9.
So, did we miss something?
It's possible. Now he's at 5. All right, maybe we missed something.
Is
I don't know. We'll not question it.
wait, now he's at 1?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, Bart's dead.
Yeah, I don't.
So
Sorry about that. Sorry for the life total discrepancies. Bart is now
at 20.
so okay. So Bart was just dead.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we thought.
Yeah, Bart's just dead. Needs to go back to the drawing board. Maybe he needs to ask Tommy for his Patriot missile list because Patriot missile just crushed him.
So it's very possible, and we should definitely say this because it's unfair to Bart as a player. It is possible that he does not have the fetch lands, or his mana base may not be correct, as he recently has just picked up this list. You know what I mean? And it's kind of
those
started
things
to.
are expensive. They're like $15.
I agree. Hey, sometimes you don't go in on them, but I also agree with you. Bart went back to the drawing board when he was playing that awful red deck. Came out with Jeskai tokens. Bart, you need to take it one step further and make sure this mana base is right, because I think game 1 he could have got there. Game 2 we were on 2 colors, so we might as well be playing the red-white.
Yeah. Now back to the drawing board. I think on this one, make it like even if you don't have the fetch lands, just play red-white then.
Yeah, I
It's like
agree
a
with that.
serviceable deck.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deck.
Definitely.
If you don't have like Stormbreath Dragons, then whatever. Just play a bunch of tokens and collateral damage.
Which seems fine.
It seems awful, but just do it.
You might as well. I mean, what else is it better than trying to play 3 colors when you can't draw your 3rd color?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was brutal. That game 1, I felt like Bart had the potential to get there and decided for whatever reason just not to cast his engine, which was really weird. Because we've seen that card. I mean, Jeskai Sensi is a nutty card.
Yeah, it's super nutty, especially with Stoke the Flames, but I don't know.
Well, speaking of places to go and get cards, guys, make sure you run over to nerdragegaming.com so you can order your singles and sealed product today.
Can we buy Flooded Trends?
We can probably buy Flooded Trans, yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna totally do that so Bart can't get any.
Is that what, you're gonna slow roll them like Tom? You're gonna be like, Bart, what fetches do you need?
Yeah.
Got it.
Let me buy those.
I'll take those real quick.
Yeah, and then try to sell them back to him, like try to trade him for all the value.
Bart,
Shark
do you
him.
have trades? Oh, that's
I got
terrible.
4 Flooded Strands for you, Bart. $25 each. I value them at 25.
Well, regardless, we've got singles. Just today, I know we put in